What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another Soul Sunday. So, we are still reading the Four Agreements. We are in chapter 6 now, so there's only one more chapter after this. And this chapter is called Breaking Old Agreements. All right, so we'll get right into it. So, we're on page 94. Who stops us from being free? We blame the government, we blame the weather, we blame our parents, we blame religion, we blame God. Who really stops us from being free? We stop ourselves. What does it really mean to be free? Sometimes we get married and we say that we lose our freedom, then we get divorced and we are still not free. What stops us? Why can't we be ourselves? The real you is still a little child who never grew up. Sometimes that little child comes out when you are having fun or playing, when you feel happy, when you are painting or writing poetry or playing the piano or expressing yourself in some way. These are the happiest moments of your life, when the real you comes out, when you don't care about the past and you don't worry about the future. You are childlike. Awareness is always the first step, because if you are not aware, there is nothing you can change. If you are not aware that your mind is full of wounds and emotional poison, you cannot begin to clean and heal the wounds, and you will continue to suffer. There is no reason to suffer. With awareness, you can rebel and say, this is enough. You can look for a way to heal and transform your personal dream. When we talk about the Toltec path to freedom, we find that they have an entire map for breaking free of domestication. They compared the judge, the victim, and the belief system to a parasite that invades the human mind. The food for the parasite is the negative emotions that come from fear. So we'll stop there for a second. So the negative emotions that come from fear is jealousy, envy, self-hatred, hatred for other people. These are all negative emotions that come from fear, a fear of lack. Maybe that if this person has more than I do, then I won't have enough. A second approach is to stop feeding the parasite. If we don't give the parasite any food, we kill the parasite by starvation. To do this, we have to gain control of our emotions. We have to refrain from fueling the emotions that come from fear. So our emotions are going to happen. We're going to feel angry. There's moments that we're going to feel those negative emotions. So let's say that we're feeling angry about something. Sometimes our very first emotion is to explode and give our emotional poison to somebody else. But anger is really us not feeling understood. So if we try to refrain from confrontation and try to engage in communication, then we can get our point across better. But of course, that's very hard to do sometimes when you're used to communicating in a certain way, when you're used to just throwing out the emotion that you're experiencing rather than taking a second and be like, you know what, I need to step away because I'm feeling angry, and I will come back to it when I'm ready to communicate. And if you already do that, kudos to you. One way to change your beliefs is to focus your attention on all those agreements and beliefs and change the agreements within yourself. When you were a child, you didn't have a choice. But you are no longer a child. Now it's up to you to choose what to believe and what not to believe. You can choose to believe in anything, and that includes believing in yourself. The first step is to become aware of the fog that is in your mind. So the fog that's in your mind is the agreements that you made with yourself, the domestications that were in you from other people that you may not even really agree with, but you stuck to it because it was subconscious. You didn't really think about it. So what I did was I made a list of positive things that were personal beliefs of mine, and then I made a list of negative ones to see, do I still connect with this? Is this something that is still true to me today? And if it wasn't, I decided to write a new agreement that I agree with now. So the next step is to develop awareness of all the self-limiting, fear-based beliefs that make you unhappy. You take an inventory of all that you believe, all your agreements, and through this process, you begin the transformation. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a disclaimer. Of course, it's not gonna be easy when you're used to thinking a certain way. It's hard. Change is hard, period. I tell you guys that all the time. It's not an easy thing. I won't sit here and lie to you and say that, but it is definitely worth it, because little by little, you will see the change in yourself, and then it will be natural. But for every agreement you break that makes you suffer, you will need to replace it with a new agreement that makes you happy. This will keep the old agreement from coming back. There are many strong beliefs in the mind that can make this process look hopeless. This is why you need to go step by step and be patient with yourself, because this is a slow process. And that is the truth. I will not sit here and lie to y'all. I'm not going to be like, well, you just start and then it's like, boom. No, sis and bros, it don't go like that, okay? Being real with y'all. It really doesn't go like that, but step by step, you will see the change and you will see what it changes in you. So it's worth embarking on. And this is the last quote from this chapter that I wanted to share with you guys. The warrior has control, not control over another human, but control over one's own emotions, control over oneself. So with that, I want to say this. If we let the things that happen, like let's say you're driving in the car and somebody flicks you off, right? You're like, what is their problem? Then you want to go off at them, you know what I mean? The warrior takes a second to sit there and be like, is this worth my time? Obviously, that guy had a really bad day. Obviously, you don't let anybody treat you any type of way. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, something that my mother always told me and my father, was choose your battles. Choose your battles. Choose what you want to put your energy into. Is this worth my time? Is this worth my life? Expending my life on energy that you can be using towards something else. And like I told you, of course, that's going to be pretty hard sometimes, because we're used to being like, no, you know what I'm saying? But you have to get to the point where you want to change for you. So with that, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. I hope you have an amazing week. Try to instill them into your life as best as you can. And as we learned in a previous chapter, all we can do is try our best. All right, I will catch y'all next week. Bye.